Very good. So shortly we'll be continuing our practice of the 4 elements. And speaking to some of you today, you really enjoyed the practice and you enjoyed the learnings of the practice as well. Without wanting to point fingers at anyone in particular, some of the people in this room are getting older. And you're starting to find that the body is changing. That there's a process at play. That this body that we previously trusted, relied upon, that for the most part did whatever we wanted, whatever we asked of it. This body is starting to show its true nature, that it's out of control, that it doesn't actually belong to you. If it did, you'd be able to tell it what to do, right? You'd be able to control it. You'd be able to say, may my body be like this, young and gorgeous, full of strength. But this, Slim, curvy in the right places. But this body, it has its own causes and conditions which keep it in youth. And when those causes and conditions change, we move into sickness, we move into old age. And there's nothing that we can do about it. The illusion is that bodies should be healthy, that bodies should stay young. If we just do these things, take these pills, use that cream, do that exercise, then we'll live forever. But the reality is that this body is changing. This body is engaged in a process that cannot be stopped. And so when we do this practice of the 4 elements, it's an opportunity for us to see this truth, to see in accordance with reality. Bodies get sick. Bodies get old. Any being born with a body must die. And there's a beautiful acceptance, a beautiful peace that comes from investigating in this way. When we look at this body and break it down into elements, into parts, instead of freaking out or getting scared or becoming anxious, instead there's usually a sense of peace, of calm and tranquility that comes from understanding, from seeing, yes, this is just how it is. This body arises dependent upon causes and conditions. It stays for some time. It's constantly changing. it's liable to perish. And eventually, this body, when those causes and conditions that support its life fade or fail, then this body too will become nothing more than a log lying in the forest. That's what our body will be like, just like a log lying in the forest. And so this practice is very, very powerful. It relies upon us being calm, us having some mindfulness, some centeredness, so that we can see clearly with a mind that is tranquil. And so tonight we'll be practicing again this 4-element meditation. But to get to that stage of tranquility, that stage of steadiness and calm, we'll begin by practicing some breath meditation. And then I'll move us on to the 4-element meditation. I'll guide it just a little bit, but I'll leave much more space this time for your own practice, for your own reflection. But just to remind you, because I probably won't mention it during the guided meditation, there's these 4 elements, which are earth, water, fire or heat, wind or air. The characteristics of the earth element, the things that we can recognize the earth element by, are heavy. Yeah, so hard, soft, or any degree, right? Any degree in between, hard and soft, and rough and smooth, and heavy and light. Good. So this is how we can always spot the earth element. What about the water element? The characteristics are anything flowing. Anything liquid is the water element. And also anything that coheres, that binds. So I've seen that there's some spectacular cakes. Was some spectacular cakes. I have to say I haven't been able to eat them all. But I know that when you make a cake, you put in some flour and then you add some water, right? And it's the water that helps the flour cohere to give the cake shape. Same with our body. Our body coheres due to the water element. So, the water element is anything that is liquid and flowing or that coheres and binds. 3rd element. Heat. Anything that is hot or cold or anything in between. This is the characteristic of heat. It can be very cold, it can be very hot, anything in between. And the other characteristic is the digestive process, the heat that transforms our food into energy. And the last element is wind, or air, So the wind is anything that pushes, that oscillates. This is the movement of the breath. And it's also anything that supports the space, like the inflation of the lungs, right? Or the space inside the esophagus or nostrils. And these are the 4 elements. When we contemplate them internally. That's within our own body, both outside and inside. We contemplate them externally. We think, well, other people have these things too, and this element comes from external to me. We contemplate both internally and externally. We see the interrelationship, the way this element comes from outside, enters our body, and leaves again. We understand the origination of these things. Where do they come from? We understand the cessation, how they end. And we understand this element, whether it's fire or wind or whatever. We understand the nature of this property enough to develop mindfulness. And so as we go along in this practice, we've just begun our practice. But as you deepen your understanding of this practice, you will see more and more clearly the nature of this element. You might find that something particularly sticks out to you. It could be water. And you focus on that. Water. Water. Perhaps you see a part of the body where there's water. Or perhaps you are excited about the earth element. Maybe you focus on the bones, and you focus on that. You allow the mind to investigate and settle on that. It can become very sharp, very clear. And you can achieve a very deep state of meditation by becoming absorbed in that part of the body or that element. And so let's practice our 4 elements meditation. We'll do 20 minutes of breath meditation, and then we'll do about 30 minutes of the 4 elements. Okay, so once again, finding that comfortable posture. Remember, we're going to be here for 50 minutes. For some of you, that's 5 times longer than you ordinarily practice. So allow yourself some comfort. It's always best to jiggle around at the beginning to find the best spot for your body. Let's get all the scratching, all the sniffing, all the adjusting out of the way as much as possible so that we can sit in quietness. If you ever need to move, you can. Do it mindfully with awareness. Mark. Sure. So if you can just get up here on the left, yeah. Yes. Sure. Anything else before we go on? So it's good to get these things out of the way now, right? So that we can have some peace. So you are welcome to move at any time, but please move mindfully, with awareness, quietly, concerned about the practice of others, maintaining your own mindfulness as you move. We've spent all day developing mindfulness. And now we'll see the results in our practice. So allow yourself to keep letting go. Letting go of the world outside. Letting go of the day. Letting go of past meditations. So that you can be here and now, alive to this moment, this meditation. As you settle in, you see that you have developed mindfulness throughout the day. And very quickly, your mind settles down. You become more calm, more peaceful. You're aware, but relaxed. And with your mindfulness prepared, it's so easy to see the breath. Suddenly it's there. You see the breath coming in. You experience the breath going out. Mindfully breathing in. Mindfully breathing out. Aware and present with each and every breath. If you become distracted, start thinking, wandering, very gently, with kindness, bring your mind back to the breath and stay longer. Allowing the mind to become absorbed with the breath. This sharpens our mind, brings clarity, power, and tranquility, peace. So watch each and every breath, mindful, present, for the next 20 minutes. And now that the mind is more clear, more calm, we can begin our investigation of the elements. Begin with earth element. We see this internally in our body. Hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, bones, bone marrow, sinews, tendons, internal organs, kidneys, liver, spleen, intestines, undigested food, feces. This is the earth element in your body. So look at it. See it clearly. Understand its characteristics. Where it came from. Where it's going. This is not me, not mine. This is not myself. There is just this borrowed element. There is just earth element. No me, no mine. Just earth. Now we investigate the water property in this body. Tears, sweat, grease, spit, phlegm, digestive juices, bile, blood, synovial fluid, urine. This is the water element in my body. See it clearly. Know it. Understand it. Where it comes from, where it's going. This water does not belong to me. It's borrowed. It's not mine. It's not me. I can't control it. There is just this water element. No me, mine. And then there's the heat element. Hot, cold. Where is hot now in your body? Where is coldness in your body? Feel the warmness under the armpits, where your hands are touching. The coldness in the toes, the nose. See that process of digestion. This is the heat property. See it clearly, know it, what it is, where it comes from, where it's going. This is not me. This is borrowed heat. Does not belong to me. It's not mine. It's not myself. Finally, the wind element. Pushing of the breath in and out of the body. The gaseous exchange in the lungs. The gas in the intestines. Burps and farts. This is the wind element. Know it. See it clearly. Understand where it comes from, where it's going. Even this breath is borrowed. Does not belong to me. It's not mine. It's not myself. seeing in this way, why do I cling so strongly, so much to this body that's changing, out of control, made up of borrowed things, liable to perish. Why do I cling so strongly to this idea of me, mine, I, myself? And as we come towards the end of the practice, just reviewing, was there an element that stood out for you that made you curious? Or made you upset? Was there a body part that triggered something for you? What was it? In your own practice later, perhaps you use that element or use that body part to drill down deeper, keeping the mind in that place. But for now, we'll relax our awareness, coming back to the room and arising from our meditation. So just a few words to conclude the practice. In the Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, another teaching of the Buddha, Majjhima Nikaya 140, we're introduced to two further elements, including space, which takes on that role of that supporting function, such as the space inside the nostrils or in the esophagus, all the way through to the rectum, just like this donut. And we also are introduced to consciousness, the element of consciousness. And this element is described as being the part of our mind that knows, specifically that feels pleasure, pain, and neutral experiences. Pleasant experiences, painful experiences, neutral experiences. So when you experience these in your meditation, these are also not self. Exploring the elements is a way that we reduce our attachment to this body, as well as the pleasure and pain that we experience in this body. By examining the not-self nature of our experience, we don't react so strongly to pleasure or pain in the body. It gives us some space, gives us some room around reacting to things like pain. We see it as an element. This is just the earth element playing up again, or this is just the heat element. This is borrowed, does not belong to me. This pain is not me. It's not mine. And the Buddha said that the link between the experience of pleasure, pain, or neutrality and consciousness, that link is the contact between our body and our mind, our enjoyment of pleasures, our dislike of pain. This contact is like, he said, two pieces of wood rubbed together. It creates friction, creates fire. This is dependent on those two pieces of wood rubbing together, depending upon that contact. But if that contact is severed, there's no friction, there is no fire. In the same way, when we see clearly, we don't respond with craving or aversion to pleasant or unpleasant sensations, feelings. We see with wisdom, this is not me, this is not mine. And so this is a deeper understanding of this four-element practice that helps us to come into wisdom of not self, seeing that these things, these impermanent, changing things, are not you. And when you see like this, you don't respond so much to things that are happening in the body. Your meditation will be more peaceful. You'll have less movement in the body. You won't react so much to pain. And you'll go deeper and deeper into insight. So I'll leave it there. We can have a little stretch, a little movement. Just a little addendum. If you are experiencing a lot of pain, then please do take care. Please do move. But you'll see that by doing this practice, we respond less and less to the body. So have a stretch, have a movement. Not a movement. Please don't have a movement. Have a moment, perhaps.